administration student, yoga teacher, marathon runner, and currently finishing my plant-based nutritionist degree. I'm here to help you to achieve a healthier, happier, and more sustainable life. I am also the creator of the Elisa Show Instagram account, where I post delicious and nutritious plant-based recipes. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. That's at Elisa Show over on Instagram. I hope you all had a wonderful week of good vibes, and I'm so grateful that you're tuning in with me today. So let's get started. In today's episode, I will be talking about saying yes, but meaning no. What do I mean by that? You know the situation. Someone asks you to do something, and you say, yes, of course. But you know that you actually had other plans and you wanted to do something else. So what can we do about it? You know, when you have this full schedule and there is no time slot for anything else, but you still say yes, simply because you have the fear of missing out, FOMO in short words. I hear myself saying yes, but my internal me just rolls their eyes. I'm wondering why. Why am I saying yes? I know that I don't have time for it. I know that I don't have the capacity for it. Why is it so important to me to please others? Is this really necessary? Do I really have to do that for this person or for that person? Or am I simply afraid to say no? And am I afraid to miss out on this particular thing? Or is it simply the fear of disappointing others, hurting them, making them feel angry, or simply being unkind or rude? I don't want people to think of me negatively. I'm always preaching everyone good vibes only, and let's be super happy, and no negativity is allowed. But it doesn't matter if they say it out loud or not, and I'm simply here to actually notice what's going on. Do I really think it's important what other people think of me? Of course. I know it's difficult to say no, but still, it's important to see, do I have the time to do it? Do I have the capacity? Do I want to use this time that I actually planned for something else? It's not just a challenge that you do. It's a day-to-day barrier that you have to overcome and that you have to face. What do we really want? What is it that we really want? It all comes back to a lack of self-confidence and self-value. We start by recognizing what is really important for me. Do I really think I need to do that right now? Or is it just because I hope that someone else sees me doing that and then thinks, wow, this person is really cool, this person does that, it has to be amazing, or it has to be something. Is it really necessary to prove someone else wrong? Let's start with the first big topic, and that would be saying no. Doesn't mean that you're a bad person. Negative thoughts and judging yourself is unhelpful, and it makes it harder to say no. You heard that it makes it harder to say no. And we learned that negative thoughts are just a pattern for the moment. And we can work to change this pattern. But is it worth it? Do you really want to change this pattern? Or do you just want to live from day to day and don't really think about it? We need to dig really deep. Where are these beliefs coming from? What happened that I think this way and not a different way? How did you change over time? How did you see this situation when you were younger? Was it easier to say no? What happened? What happened? saying no was off limits when you imagine a situation with your family, for example. Imagine you would say no to your grandmother or your mother or your teacher or any other family member. It seems to be rude and impolite. But now you are the one who can make their own choice. You're an adult. You can choose what you really want. And we know the difference between good and bad and right and wrong. So you are the one who have the ability to see, what do I really want? How do I want to structure my life? No shouldn't be an off limit. Rather, a decision based on our belief and how we want to build our life. Often we hold on to our childhood beliefs and continue to associate no with being selfish or being rude. We are afraid to end up alone. Isn't that what it's all about? We don't want to be alone. But what can we do? What can we do about it? The second thing will be to know your value. When I say knowing your value, we need to realign that you are valuable. You are worth it. You can choose. You have your own opinion, and it doesn't matter what other people say, what other people think. You live your life, and no one else is living your life. You are unique the way you are. You will never feel free and truly happy when you live your life depending on others' approval. It doesn't matter if they say that you can do that. It doesn't matter if they say that you're not allowed to do that, to do this. You're the one who chooses. What do you really want? This is a question no one can answer you because you have to decide what you really want. You're basically saying that it doesn't really matter what I'm thinking. My opinion doesn't matter. But is that the truth? Is it true that I'm not allowed to say what I'm really thinking? Can I live like that? Can I be happy like that? I don't think so. Your problems don't define you. It's not what you did wrong. It's about what you do afterwards. It's okay to make mistakes. Nobody is perfect, and this is something we all know. We're not perfect, and we will never be perfect. We will always learn. Life is a learning process. And everybody does things that they will regret at some point. But it's not about regretting something. It's about dealing with the situation and dealing with what has happened. And the willingness to love others, be humble and grow as a person is what makes us a great person. And when I'm saying a great person, I'm not saying you're good or bad or you're good or bad. You choose what is a great person for you. And everyone else has a different definition for that. You think, for example, you might think your neighbor is a great person and I think your neighbor is not a great person. But it doesn't matter because it's your life and you choose what you think. It is your decision. And we are all unique. We are all valuable and we are important. You are important and you are enough. And you are perfect the way you are. The third thing would be to see, is it really worth it? Is saying yes really worth it in this situation? After deciding, you might begin to think about ways to get out of it. You put so much stress on yourself. If you don't have a good excuse, you need to decide, do I want to tell the truth right now? Or am I lying? What do I really want? Think about the stress that saying yes has caused you. Is it worth it? Wouldn't it be easier to say no in the first place? Why is saying no so hard? What is driving me? I know the situation really well, and I had that a couple of times where I started lying about certain things, and I was feeling miserable afterwards. I wasn't feeling good. Of course, I escaped this situation. But is this what I really want? Is this how I want to live my life? For example, when we have family meetings, most of the time I go for a run and I always say, oh, I will bake something for everyone. And I know that I have other plans and they actually don't have time. And I put so much stress on me. But I could simply say, I don't have the capacity to bake something for you because I want to go for my run. And this is okay. And if I want to bake something, then I can do it the day before or find another way to do it. But if I don't want to do it, then I don't have to do it. I can find a different way to deal with the situation. I can talk with someone and say, hey, do you want to bake something this time? I don't have time. Looking back and think I should have said no because I knew that I wanted to go for my run is not worth it, or? So what are some things that we can do about it? We can be direct. And when I say direct, I mean direct. Say, no, I can't do that. Or say, I don't want to do that. But be direct and tell them what you really want. It's not worth it to wait all the time and feel bad afterwards. You can't change it afterwards. You're in the moment right now and not in a couple of minutes or a couple of hours or a couple of days. Now is the moment. And don't apologize and find excuses. You put so much stress on yourself. Imagine the situation, you're standing in front of another person, he asks you something and you're just like, no, I can't come, I have this and that, and you think about things and you can just say, no, I can't. And that's it. Don't put so much stress on you. And please don't lie. You will feel so bad after lying. Lying just hurts so much after saying it. In the moment you think, oh, perfect, I pushed it away from me. But do you really want to feel guilt? Do you really want to feel that? That's what you're trying to avoid all the time. But now you see this pattern, you're actually changing it around. So instead of putting stress on you because you're saying, yes, I do that, you're now lying, but you still put so much stress on you because you thought you need to lie. Better to say no now than feeling bad later. You know about being present right now, but it's not just about being present right now, it's also about thinking about the things or the choices that you have in this moment. But don't forget to be polite in these situations. Say, thanks for asking, but you don't need to put so much stress on you and try to push this situation away from you or push this person away from you. Simply accept this. That's life, and that's okay. If you want to improve yourself with making this decision, you can visualize this situation and getting more comfortable with it. You can even ask your best friend or someone else to negotiate with you that you have to do that you have to make this decision, that you have to say yes or that you have to say no, because that's what you want to learn. And that's key. No, I will think about it. Be direct. And also, the no, I will think about it is another thing. Of course, you're pushing it away from you right now. But what did we say earlier? Did we say be direct? Are you direct when you say, no, I will think about it? You give yourself more space to think about it, but do you really want to think about it? Or do you know what you want to do in the moment? Self-worth doesn't depend on others. You heard that. You are worth it, and it doesn't matter what other people say or what other people think. You do what's right for you and you show everyone else that you are worth it and that you have the power to say no. You can say no when it's appropriate for you. So to finalize today's episode, I will give you 3 key elements that you need to remember if you really want to say no. First of all, choose right away. Be direct. It's not worth it to push it away from you because you have to deal with it later on. And do you really want to deal with it later on when you already had so much stress? It will be in your mind all the time. And is it worth it to have it in your mind all the time? Or do you simply want to finish this chapter? The second thing is to face your fear and start working against it. What is it? What is driving you? It's really important to see what's my weakness and where is my strength. And when you know that this saying no is a weakness for you, then start to practice it. Start to practice saying no. And the last thing I want to say is that self-worth doesn't depend on others. You are perfect the way you are and you are worth it. There is no one out there who can lead you. You are the only person who can lead your life. And this is what's the most important thing. You are enough and you belong here. And you have the power to make a decision, especially simply because it's your life and not the life of someone else. Someone else can give you an advice, but an advice is not the decision in the end. So remember, you are worth it. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. Make sure to let me know how this episode resonated with you by tagging me under @ElisaLicious over on Instagram. That's where you can also send me a DM if you have any questions or suggestions. If you want to know more, make sure to head over to elisalicious.de where you can find the show notes for each episode. And please make sure to pop over to iTunes and leave me a rating and review. And hey, if you like what you hear, check out my Patreon page where you can support my work. I appreciate that so much. Big thank you to Tanja and Notschaele for graphics and music by Temple Hayes. Have a wonderful rest of the day and I'll see you next week.